basically what we're trying to do with Modern Seers is to create a structure that people can engage with and interact with multiple levels.
Well, I think that in many ways we're an answer to what was happening with my guru and his organization. That place was very complicated, very complex. So many things were going on. I want to come back to basics. And the basics are a person needs to be aware of themselves. For real. No crazy denials, but aware of his or her feelings, what's happening inside and outside. Then they need to move towards what they want, because we came on this planet not to do some kind of crazy spiritual trip, but to enjoy. So if you want to have a new car, why not? If you don't want to have a new car, why not? If you want to be close to God, why not? If you want to be far from God, why not? So ultimately, we want to provide structure for people who want to reconnect with God, reconnect with spirituality. And we want to focus on the basics. And the basic thing is reconnection with spirituality. What you do with it, that is going to come later. And frankly, we don't need to discuss it at all. Once you are connected with with your spiritual self, with your soul, whatever is going to come out from your mouth and your body and your actions is going to be fine. You don't need morality, you don't need education, you don't need anything. You can of course get all of these if you want to, but once you have that connection, you're fine. If you don't have that connection, you're also fine, but you will not know it. And that is the difference. So when people ask what is Modern Seers, well, it's very simple actually. And I want to keep it simple. So all the practices, all the Modern Seers spiritual precepts, they're designed from ground up to be simple but effective. In fact, effectiveness is more important than simplicity. But I try to get the most simple set of practices possible while keeping them effective. That's basically what my goal was. There's no need to have complication with this. As simple as possible. Now, of course, practicing any spiritual practice, you need to have some basic intelligence. So don't come back to me and say, oh my God, I practice these practices and they don't work. And you have forgotten that you're an idiot. Well, a smart person, and I mean spiritually smart person, will engage this practice and achieve quite good results. And how do you know whether you're smart or not? Well, that's a very big question. And I can help you with that, and you should become aware of that, of what your capabilities are. But basically, if you are a capable person and want to spend some time on these practices, they will be effective. If you're not capable, well...
they'll still be effective.
No. In Russian there we have a saying that if you send a fool to pray to God, he's going to break his forehead. So absolutely not. This is one of the biggest myths, particularly in the United States, that anyone doing anything can succeed if they put enough effort. No. If you have no aptitude to poetry, you can break your head, you will never write good poetry. You can become proficient at recognizing poetry and having some clue about poetry, but talented, good poetry, no, never. It's just not going to happen. So yes, you have to have capability for the spiritual path. So not everyone who comes on the spiritual path will succeed, absolutely not. But, a person of average and above intelligence, sure, no problem. And let your intelligence not stop you, because intellectual intelligence and spiritual intelligence are not the same thing. That's how a cat can be more spiritual than a dog.
Or well-educated.
Oh yeah, you can have a well-educated person who is an idiot on a spiritual path. In fact, most well-educated people, because they have so much mental activity, so much brain activity. They're so smart intellectually that they don't notice how incredibly unaware they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who have ever worked with intellectuals knows that egos are big, elementary psychology is not followed, this rampant dysfunction in those organizations. No, intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence are not the same thing as spiritual intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, they say that spirituality doesn't need any philosophy or psychology.
Mm-hmm.
If you want God, you want God. If you want to be connected, you want to be connected. You don't need to discuss it endlessly, like they do in New Age places around here. So continued discussion about what and how and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
You want God, it's very easy, just go and get it. Don't need to go to church for that. Don't go into Modern Seers for that either. You can just go right now, snap your fingers and you're with God. Or you can pretend that you're with God, which is very different from being with God.
Mm-hmm.